I can't believe it's been 3 years already since this vehicle, the Corolla Cross, has debuted for Toyota. It's a compact, or should I say subcompact crossover that slots underneath the highly successful RAV4. It is still the only hybrid available option in its class. Now there's also a gas model, which is the standard model. Costs a little bit less than this, not going to get as much power or fuel economy. So if you want to see if that vehicle is worth your time or should you just spend the extra money, that's what I'll cover in that video. In this video, I'm going to talk about the strengths and weaknesses of this refreshed Corolla Cross Hybrid. Is it still my pick in the subcompact crossover segment? Today we'll find out. Class leading horsepower, class leading fuel efficiency. That is what we're talking about here. Oh no, there's a hood stick with the Corolla Cross Hybrid here. 196 horsepower. All-wheel drive is standard, which I find that interesting. With the new RAV4 coming out this year being optional all-wheel drive, it's interesting that this cheaper model does not offer a front-wheel drive hybrid. This has nearly 30 more horsepower than the gas model that has 169 horsepower. This will also get you over 40 miles per gallon if you play your cards right, if you do not have a heavy foot. The clock is reading for me on my drive so far. I put about 40 miles on it so far. It's about 44 miles per gallon, which is fantastic. The engine's actually on right. Well, the car is on, but the engine is not. That's one of the benefits of a hybrid. I actually have the AC running right now. That's one of the great things, is that you don't need belts and pulleys to run a compressor or anything with the hybrid. It's all electrically driven. Underneath the hood, Toyota has given us a little sound deadener here, a little bit of rubber gaskets, nothing too fancy, and that's what I'm expecting for a car of this price point. Let's see what the hood sounds like. Sounds like a Toyota. When we're talking about a refresh, I'm hoping we have a facelift on the front, and the answer is, especially on the hybrid, we do. This has actually been seen in other markets, and I just noticed a small little Corolla Cross emblem of the silhouette of the car right here. There was some emblems underneath the hood as well, so this car has a bunch of Easter eggs if you're into that sort of thing. But anyways, this XSE trim has parking sensors in the front. We have fog lights here at the bottom. But yeah, this checkered pattern here has been seen in other markets, as well as these vertical little columns here around the smoked out Toyota logo. The daytime running lights also double as the turn signals. Let me turn that on. Well, the daytime running lights, surprisingly, are not also the turn signal. It's an LED below here. Now, the lesser trims will probably have an incandescent bulb for the turn signal. Bi-LED headlights here. I like these vertical pieces. They're not functional. They're just there for style. I'm really happy with this. Oh, there's the engine ticking on. I'm really happy with how the hybrid looks. I'll go ahead and put what the gas model looks side by side, and let me know in the comments which front end you prefer over the other. Now, at least with the turn signals on this XSE, it is built also into the side mirror here. Toyota has a few different blues in their lineup. Reservoir blue, voodoo blue, which is an even a brighter blue than this. This is more of like a sky blue. I mean, as I look up at the sky right now, awfully similar color here. All right, these 18-inch gloss black wheels are actually from last year's Nightshade model. As of now, there's no Nightshade model for 2026. The S and SE come with aluminum 17-inch wheels, and then you can actually get steel wheels on the gas base model, the L. You also have this optional black two-tone roof here, Corolla Cross lettering there. You have it even the Corolla Cross mentioned on the taillight and the headlight over there. On the back of this XSE model, we have some black logos, just like we saw the front Toyota logo blacked out, smoked out. We have the Toyota logo here, as well as the Corolla Cross logo smoked out, XSE. HEV all-wheel drive, it's kind of just all runs together with this Beyond Zero logo. All right, glossy portion to the bottom here, just like we had a glossy portion on the front bumper. And at the very bottom, when you're driving behind a Corolla Cross, you just see a lot of muffler. It's a really unsightly appearance, whether it's the gas version or the hybrid. You just see a lot of ugly muffler butt going on. The XSE has this lift gate, and let's bring you closer. JBL sound system, and I cranked the JBL sound system on the way here. Pleasantly surprised, but there's an asterisk to that. We'll talk about that once we get in the front seat. Okay, underneath this little floor here, well, there's a fix-a-flat kit and a round piece of styrofoam. You know that this is in certain markets, this would have a spare tire, and you see a high voltage cable underneath, again giving power to the rear wheels here, again, because it is standard all-wheel drive, all right? Do I have any accessory power back here? And this is surprising. I mean, I see a little light, but I don't see any accessory 12 volt. That's unfortunate because when you have a crossover like this, especially with electrification, you would expect to have a little bit of accessory power available back here, and there just isn't. All right, getting in the backseat of the Corolla Cross, this rear door doesn't open up very high, or very far, I should say. Plastic here, cup holder here, that's nice. Soft touch armrest at least. This seat is set up for me at 6'1". I would say it's an acceptable amount of legroom. Headroom, even though this has a sunroof, really good headroom for a subcompact. Now, I believe standard on the Corolla Cross lineup, you do have vents in the back, so that's great. But the upper trim levels, are, if you want USB-Cs in the back, you have to go for the upper trim levels, all right? I do have a mat pocket over here. The seat material, it's kind of a leatherette, or I think Toyota calls it Softex. It's pretty nice. I do have a fold down armrest too, so pretty good experience here in the back seat. Not the most upscale, but pretty accommodating, I would say. This is where some of the biggest changes are for this year's Corolla Cross for 2025. You'll see this big screen. This is available on the XLE and XSE trims. No volume knob. This is the same issue I had with the Corolla when they went to this big screen on certain trim levels on the Corolla sedan, for example. No volume knob. Instead, you just have to press and hold. Now, I never use these anymore, okay? If I had a volume knob like you do on the smaller screens, if you get the base, or like the base grade and the mid grade, they have a smaller screen with a volume knob. But when you upgrade to this bigger screen, you get the volume knob stripped away. And so you have to smash the buttons or hold the button on the steering wheel here. This is a lot easier to do because this is just, you know, the screen, okay, it's big, it's high resolution. I guess it's nice. Also has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto wireless, but I mean, it's almost awkward when you're driving because there's really no table here to stabilize your hand. You have to hold on to the side or hold on to the top to stabilize. So hard touch here on the top, soft touch here, but I have fake stitching on the door panels here. Not a very high end in terms of materials. I do like these seats. I will say these seats, these Softex seats, are very comfortable. Very cozy. I'm happy with the seats with the blue stitching, quite nice. Besides the screen, what else is new? Well, you have dual zone climate control in this top grade. And then down here is where things change a lot. We have a new phone holder area. It's been kind of lowered and flattened. All right, so it's easier to get to your phone now. It's in the same general area though, but before I think it was sideways, the phone. It was like way back in this tunnel, all right? Now you just put your phone here, passenger can put their phone here. This one is wireless on this trim, okay? Heated seat buttons still here. No ventilated seats on this car whatsoever here in the United States. Not talking about you lucky folks overseas that get those nice features. I have a heated steering wheel on this. I have different drive modes, a little tiny switch, which is kind of funny. So if I'm in drive here, I can just kind of rest my hand on the shifter and play around with the different drive modes. All right, so let's put that put into park here. I do have a leather wrapped shifter here, which is pretty nice. This area is a huge upgrade. Auto brake hold. Here's my Apple CarPlay, Android Auto configuration. It does do wireless, like I said. And there's also another USB-C under here. So a total of 4 USB-Cs on this top grade and a 12-volt accessory, which I'd rather have in the cargo area, but don't need to beat a dead horse there. All right, this one has a fancy key glove and 2 big cup holders here. These cup holders in a great spot. They're probably never really gonna get too much into your way of shifting or anything or getting in front of the climate control. So good spot for the cup holders. I wanna say the mid grade and the top grades get the leather wrap steering wheel. It's amazing, super comfortable. I love the baseball stitching on here. Hard touch over the dome. Now this is what's new. There's a new 12-inch screen on the top grades for the information back here. It's pretty. There's a learning curve. It's the same screen seen on top-end Camry or top-end RAV4. It's pretty, but it takes some time to get used to. The base screen has been improved from a 4-inch screen to the 7-inch screen, which was the optional screen in last year's model. Well, the 7-inch screen is awesome. Not quite as big, obviously, but easier to customize, easier to go through the menus. All right, so personally, I'd be perfectly happy with either screen here, and I'd actually be going for the smaller screen here so I can recoup my volume knob. All right, push button start is on the XSE as well as the SE. I believe it's key ignition hybrid on the base S hybrid. I also have paddle shifters here to mimic gears. Unfortunately, the dash over here, soft over here, hard over here. Don't know why Toyota hasn't fixed that, but it is what it is. Safety features are fantastic. The steering wheel controls are fantastic. Real buttons. All right, so like AC is also ice cold air conditioning, and auto dimming rearview mirror. Blind spot monitor is not standard. You have to get that on the mid grade. It may be an option on the base grades, but I haven't seen a builder yet from Toyota. This seat is power. This seat is not. Something to consider. Shall we get on the road? We can put into sport mode, little torque brake. Okay. Okay. And let's slow down. We don't want to hit this lady and her dog. We want to be respectful, but this is the only flat part I've found. 0-16 7.2. That's pretty good. I was in the Tiguan the other day, and the Tiguan was like closer to 9 seconds. All right, so 7.2. You have really good, and it's not just 0 to 60 here that's good. All right, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, for example, in 7.6. It's just not the 0 to 60 that's good, it's the responsiveness, and that's what you need most of the time. You don't always need full throttle. Sometimes you just want half throttle. And it gives you half throttle right away. That's the great thing about Toyota hybrids. You're not waiting around on a transmission. You're not waiting around and hoping that the logic of a real CVT, not this eCVT, you're just not waiting around for anything. It just goes. It just goes. The Corolla Cross Hybrid, it's fantastic for overall smoothness. The engine can be a bit buzzy. And it's a great powertrain. Again, it's just they haven't done much to insulate how buzzy it can be when you need probably about 60% or all the way up to 100%. It gets pretty loud, a little bit buzzy. But right now, I'm just kind of coasting at 45. The engine's off. I'm in a hybrid. The little EV icon just went away, so the engine turned on. I didn't even notice it. So the engine on-off feature here is seamless. You won't even know if the engine is on or not unless you're looking, and then it turned off again. So like, again, I just don't know when it's on or off, and that is beautiful. You're never interrupted by engine bumping the car around. It's very well executed. Now, the problem is like, if the engine isn't being pushed hard, it's really quiet in here. Like, I can't hear the cars or semis next to me. I don't even have acoustic glass. Okay, so it's a very, very quiet experience, which you would think is a very good thing. All right, but as a result, you hear sometimes like a little bit of like door creak or a little creak in the back in the cargo area. Okay, so like the small, tiny imperfections you do hear from time to time, but like honestly, I'm just nitpicking because the car is so eerily quiet, unless you're pushing it on the highway, right, or going uphill, right? But most times so eerily quiet that you hear any sort of creak or rattle, which there aren't any. I don't hear a little bit. Like if a rock gets kicked up, you're going to hear it. It's kind of funny. And I'm just cruising in full electric, and it's just a magical thing. It's saying 45.5 miles per gallon here. Yes, it's quiet. However, once you get on the highway, it's not the road noise that's bad. You get quite a bit of wind buffeting. So keep that in mind if you're doing a lot of highway driving. This is not going to be the most quiet Toyota for you. Brake feel. It feels a lot like the Prius. Like honestly, it doesn't have a lot of feedback, but it's so much better than like a second or third or even fourth gen hybrid brake feel that I don't have any major complaints with it. A little soft. Again, it's blending regen braking with friction brakes at the same time, and it does, I would say, a pretty adequate job. Comfort's great. You know, the armrest is soft enough. I mean, I have access to my knobs here, or not my volume knob, obviously in this trim, but like climate control knobs here are fantastic. The shifter is in just the right position. So they've nailed ergonomics here and comfort. I'm very, very pleased with the comfort of this model. And just like the Prius, under 23 miles an hour, if the engine is off, since it is so quiet, you do hear that loud pedestrian warning sound. It's an artificial sound that kind of sounds like a spaceship. You're going to notice it here unless you have the AC going or the radio going. And like I said, this JBL audio really surprised me with its sound quality. You just can't turn it up or down fast enough. Yeah, I got a little bit of that rattle coming back somewhere in the car in front of me. Ride quality here is really soft. So even though you have these sportier 18-inch wheels, like, it's a really, really kind of bouncy, floaty ride experience. It feels just like a lifted Corolla. I mean, that's literally what this car is with a hatchback. So ride quality here is really good. Now, it feels light. When you throw it into the turns, it does feel pretty light. And my hands are happy on this leather wrap steering wheel. So like, it handles well. I do have an independent rear suspension here. So like, the car is flickable and it has good ride quality. Like I said, the comfort here is impressive here on the Corolla Cross. Materials could always be an upgrade though. Honestly, the Corolla Cross has aged well. No, it doesn't have the best materials. No, it doesn't look that great, I guess, you know, with the muffler butt in the back. But it's straight Toyota. They have a cheat code for a powertrain, good enough tech, good enough ergonomics, really decent comfort overall from the ride quality to the seat quality. That lady got off her bike and she's picking berries. It's a California staple here. You know, I love the Corolla Cross. Like, I don't want to love it because there's no, like there's nothing in about this car from the looks. Really, I guess the looks have made, but the looks are better now on the hybrid front end. But like, it's just a very generic appliance sort of vehicle. But man, it just does that so darn well. Yes, I like the interior of like a Nissan Kicks better. I like the exterior of a Nissan Kicks better. I like the handling of a Nissan Kicks better. All right, but the Nissan Kicks is really slow compared to this. And yeah, like, this is still the best. The problem is the Nissan Kicks can be had for a lot less money. So it's just what do you want to spend your money on? Okay, the Corolla Cross is still probably best in segment in the hybrid. Okay, but you're going to pay for this hybrid powertrain. And is it worth it to you? Is it worth it to you? I'm getting 46 miles per gallon tooling around here in Sonoma, and I'm still in sport mode. I'll get out of sport mode. It's still very responsive in normal mode too. So don't think that you have to be in sport mode to get a good experience here. No, you can be in eco mode. You have to nanny it, the pedal too much. Just be in normal mode and you'll be happy. All right. So signing out from the fantastic Corolla Cross here on the channel, and this is more of like a short first drive. I would probably put this vehicle in like A category on my spreadsheet back home, but I want more time with it. Maybe I'm going to roast it for something that I haven't discovered yet, right? I've only been in this car for a couple hours at this point. So stay tuned for my full review back on my main channel or on my channel when I get back home. All right, so stay subscribed to the channel. So I'm merging on while like this truck's so slow, but everyone's going about 75. So it is what it is. And maybe I'll put on the screen as this CX-90 passes me, I'll put on the screen the most recent review I did of the CX-90 versus an Infiniti QX60. You guys might appreciate that, but I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you also in my gasolina review of the XLE model here also in Sonoma. Thank you guys. Take care and be safe out there.